Welcome back to MLB Now's Top 10 First Baseman right now. Here's the list so far. Paul Goldschmidt coming in at number 10. Nathaniel Lowe, Pete Alonso, 8. Christian Walker, Wilson Contreras, new to the position, coming in at number 6. And then Yandy Diaz, Vlad Guerrero Jr., 4. Matt Olson of the Braves coming in at number 3. We like to get another top 10 list in here. We welcome in right now longtime member of the prestigious Sabermetric Super Panel, Sarah Langs, is back with us on the program. Sarah, Brian Kenny here. Great to have you back on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, VK.
All right, Sarah, let's do it. Let's give us your top 10 first baseman right now.
Absolutely. So I have Freddie Freeman, number 1. I don't know how much longer he will be number 1 just with aging and all of that. But he certainly is entering this year for me. I have Bryce Harper, Vlad Guerrero Jr., who very likely could be our number 1 next year. If you ask me, Matt Olson, I know, had a bit of a down year, but the defense makes him so good. And then Christian Walker, who I've always been very high on, especially with his defense, and he's just so reliable. Yandy Diaz, Alonso, kind of went back and forth on the numbering there. Ultimately, Yandy with the plate system. They have Benny Pasquantino, Luis Arraez, and then my wild card is Tristan Hassel, mainly because he was injured so much last year. We don't know exactly what we're going to get. But when he was healthy, I really liked what I saw.
Good. Me too. I've got Casas in my top 10 as well. I want to start at the top, though. I think I generally agree with you that Vlad Guerrero, I'm ready for him to take over, but not just yet. That's out of respect for Freeman and Harper. Another year of Vlad doing that might be a different story, right?
I mean, he was so good in the second half of the year. And look, he had a stretch where he had how many extra base hits in 20 games, man. You have this. You have 10 home runs and 500 batting average in 20 games, man. Look at those games. I mean, this is incredible. No matter how you slice it, we really saw what he can be, and they love the hitting for average. And when he came up, everyone was looking for him to hit home runs, be like his father in that way. But he showed us, I mean, he hit 330. He really put bat to ball. And so I'm ready for him to be that number 1. Of course, the defense is always a concern. I do give credit to guys on this list who play really good defense. But his bat is so good that not going to matter.
Right. I agree with you. Yandy Diaz, though, I was a little torn on Diaz after he has that one spike year that's a little better. He's got a vast array of skills. I think you might be the only panelist that we have, other than the Shredder, of course, that has Yandy Diaz in the top 10. So you think he's that good?
I mean, as you said, I love that array of skills. He was the only guy last season to be in the 85th percentile or better in hard hit rate, chase rate, and whiff rate. Nobody, not even Juan Soto, is putting that kind of power when he swings, and also having that kind of play discipline. And that is really unique in today's game. I love how hard he swings, and I know he won the back time. He had that high batting average, so everyone expects him to do that again. But even so, I think he's really valuable in the way that he approaches at the plate.
Well, again, to get room for Yandy up at number 6, you have him pretty high. You have Pete Alonso a little lower than most of us. Not drastically, but just a little lower. So where are you on Alonso?
I mean, obviously, it's a great player. So much fun to watch. I love the home runs. I think there were some concerning signs, especially last year. His whiff rate went down. He was very passive at the plate. That's not what you want from a guy like him. And of course, I mentioned defense, and his defense at first base has not been good. We had 1 year where it really spiked, and it was much better. Overall, he's not been great. But again, he's a great player. I loved him much. I felt that the guys had a bit more dimension over their game.
Yeah, no, it's a competition. You can't have everybody up in your top 5. Alonso slides back a little more on your list. Sarah, always great having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me, BK.
Hey, before we take a break, I like this part. Let's look back at the #1 first baseman the last 5 seasons. Freddie Freeman. Then Paul Goldschmidt, and then coming back with more Freddie Freeman last year. Will Freddie Freeman retain his #1 spot? Haven't heard that name yet. We'll reveal the Shredder's #1 first baseman next. Welcome back to MLB Now's top 10 first basemen right now. You see the list so far. And it is strange. I've got a little truth in advertising case. Like, Matt Olson coming off, not his best year. Yandy Diaz, not his best year. Like, Pete Alonso, not his best year. Like, Christian Walker's at a certain level. Paul Goldschmidt has fallen off.
Contreras hasn't played first base yet. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, he can hit. But now, Vlad Jr. coming off a great year, but he's also mercurial. So, again, first base at one point, when we were doing with 15 years of the Shredder, right? At one point, first base was, if not the best position, right up there, maybe up there with shortstop, different year in center field. Yeah. It's different now. It's thinned out a bit.
I think so. And a lot of question marks, 6 through 10. You're kind of bouncing. Even Yandy Diaz sitting there at 5. There's no doubt about it. But I think, when you look at it, Pete Alonso sitting there at 8. For me, I had him higher up on my list.
Right.
So Walker, I had a little higher, too. I don't totally agree with the Shredder. But you're right, PK. It's definitely thinned out a little bit.
There's still power there. Again, it's a good scrap down at 9, 10, and just missed. And now we get to the very, very top. Here now, #2 in first base.
Bryce Harper is one of the great faces of our sport. 8-time All-Star, 2 MVPs.
This guy loves the moment, lives for it.
Just been a dude.
This is what Bryce Harper can do. Electrify a crowd with one swing of the bat.
Citizens Bank Park, that place was going nuts.
Bryce Harper brings life to Philadelphia.
The boys are going crazy.
Bryce Harper wins it.
Now they're getting into it.
No doubt about it. Bryce Harper delivers.
Bryce Harper of the Phillies coming in at #2. Harper is a perennial top 10 selection. This is 13 straight times in the rankings. He's been #1 once and top 3 for the last 4 years. Last year was his first full season at first base, but he came in at +5 in fielding run value, 3rd best at the position, put up typical hitting numbers with an excellent OPS plus of 149, while also cutting down drastically on his swing and miss. Now, this is obviously one of the game's biggest stars, and he produces like it. Over the last 4 years, he is 5th in OPS plus, just below Juan Soto, just ahead of Freddie Freeman. Yeah, that's where Bryce Harper belongs. I thought, Case, I thought right here, you can say maybe #1, maybe #2, but year after year, this guy's been great. I was even surprised. Oh, yeah, it's his first full season at first base. I've gotten used to him there.
Oh, me too. And he's such a good athlete. He made that seamless. You know what I mean? He's become one of the best first basemen in the game defensively. And, BK, as far as a hitter, this guy is just better and better every single season. And one number I want to look at here is WRC plus, 4th highest in postseason history behind Ruth, Gehrig, and Brett.
Yeah.
This guy is elite, especially when he gets to the postseason, too.
Yeah, it's amazing that, again, we've seen top players struggle in the playoffs, and you say, hey, it's random, it's a small sample, but that doesn't seem to affect Harper, even getting eliminated by the Mets, and that was disappointing.
Right.
Harper was a monster, had a 500 on base, slugged like 700, 800. Yeah. He was still great.
His body of work in at-bats, too. If you're a real baseball fan and you want to watch a great at-bat, a body of work put together, watch Bryce Harper, man. This guy is a tough out, lefties and righties, and he can drive the ball out to left center, out there in the bank. It's just, this guy, I just love watching him. I feel like Bryce Harper's must-see TV if you love this game.
No question. Carlos Pena, our good friend, has often said, he goes, Bryce Harper happens to the playoffs. He doesn't let the playoffs happen to him.
So good.
He goes and gets after it. But Harper coming in at #2, that means we got one more. Here now, our #1 first baseman.
Freddie Freeman's been the guy leading the charge.
Freddie Free. It's automatic.
This is who you want to be.
Freddie Freeman floating. Get out of town. Unreal. Holy smokes, Freddie Freeman. She is gone.
Bar none, best hitter in the game.
Now he's doing things that have never been done.
Gone again.
This is Freddie Freeman. This is what he knows how to do.
This is what the great players do.
No doubt. Gone. You gotta be kidding.
Freddie Freeman, simply unstoppable.
Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers. He's #1 for the 2nd straight year and the 5th time in the last 6. He did not have his best hitting year last year. His slugging dipped below 500 for the first time in 9 years. He then struggled in the playoffs with a bad ankle before breaking out with a monstrous World Series where he had that walk-off grand slam in Game 1. That's a pretty good case. And then tied the all-time record for RBIs in a single World Series, even though they got rid of the Yankees pretty quickly. Freeman is going into his age 35 season, but he's aging very well. His fielding run value is still above league average. His base running, though, is just below league average. Over the last 3 years, here's where he ranks in all of baseball. Top 6 in most everything, 5th in hitting, that's OPS plus, 4th in Fangraphs WAR. He remains one of the game's great players. Yeah, some guys age better than others.
Yeah.
He's aged beautifully. That contract as well for the Dodgers looks fantastic.
Fantastic. You talk about consistency. For the last 12 years, he has an OPS over 130, OPS plus over 130, and that's absolutely elite with some of the best players to ever play the game. And then you just look at the body of work. When you go back to last season and you see the postseason that he put together, I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And you justify, you look at this list and you go, Freeman, Harper sitting here at 1 and 2. Freeman, for me, is still sitting there at number 1.
I think it's funny, living it in real time, it seemed to be like, it's Ohtani, it's Soto, it's Betts, and it was like, I had a feeling Freddie was like, you know, I'm like the 5th name you're getting to, and maybe you should get me a little higher, and he took over the World Series.
Oh, he took over. He took over, and the great thing about Freddie is, like, when he's on, he is so tough to pitch to. I don't care if you bring in lefty, right? You bring in Nestor Cortez.
And also, he's a batting average guy. He's an on-base guy. He's a power guy. Whatever you need, he does.
Can run the bases. He plays a great first base. I mean, he can be anybody. He can shoot the ball to left. He can hit you a bomb to right. It's just so impressive.
Look what he's done, again, with the Braves all those years, and now with the Dodgers as well. That free agent contract, I just mentioned it briefly. We had a thing a couple of weeks back, Case. I did it with Mad Dog. Top 10 free agent contracts in the history of free agent contracts in baseball. I put Freddie Freeman in there, somewhere in the top 10, sort of toward the end, but like it's above Catfish Hunter.
Oh yeah,
like it was such a bargain, and he's still getting paid quite well, but it was such a bargain, such a great deal for the Dodgers as well.
You look at the numbers right now. Like there's a few years left. You're like, that's all he's getting paid. That's all he's getting.
And he's no headaches.
No,
it's just all production, all professionalism. Freddie Freeman is up at number 1. All right, you ready for our list?
Yes.
All right. At the top, we have no issues. We're just here's our top 10 list. We're in lockstep. Freddie Freeman, we have number 1. We're in agreement. Then Bryce Harper, Vlad Guerrero. We're still Matt Olson. We're the same spot. Where are we different? Like, I put Alonso above Christian Walker. I think the volume of hitting's a little better, but you like the fielding, I guess. You went 5-6.
Yeah, I like the body of work of Walker. I think they're right there. Alonso and Walker for me were right there. And I think the biggest thing where we kind of disagree for Naylor, for me, it was off the list. This guy should have been on it. And Vinny P out there, Pascantino.
That's your wild card.
Right. Dude, that's my wild card right there.
By the way, you sniped my wild card because I wanted Vinny as well as my wild card. But I'll go. Luke Raley, by the way, is a 3-win player for Seattle. He's in 90th percentile in speed, so he runs last 2 years, excuse me, he's got a 127 OPS plus. I think Raley, he's my wild card. He's for real. He's good. Wilson Contreras for me. Case. Did you forget Wilson Contreras was a first baseman?
Yeah, I did. I just want to see him. I want to see him play. That's all. I mean, he's right there. He's right there for me, but I'd like to see him play.
Case, I've never seen him take a ground ball, but the bat plays.
The bat does play.
As long as he's not a statue there.
There's no doubt about it.
I think I'll be okay. I believe a little more in Tristan Casas. Age 25, coming up, has shown very good power for ball.
I think so. I'd like to see Tristan be healthy this year, but you're right. He's got some big-time thunder. There's no doubt about it. But, when I go back to the bottom of my list here, with Vinny Pascantino, man, this guy drove in 97 runs last year, only struck out, I think, 70-plus times.
Contact.
This guy puts the ball in play. You saw what he meant to that team when he went down. I think they struggled a little bit. And Goldie, for me, when I looked at that last September, he's not done, BK. He's going to have a big year with the Yankees in 25. No? As we were talking,
unfortunately, I agree with you, but it's a little too late for me. As we were talking about it, I immediately regretted not having Paul Goldschmidt in there because I'm thinking, it's 2 years where he's fallen off the list. And actually, only last year was a bad year for him.
Yeah.
The year before was good, just not by his MVP standards.
Right.
So, no, I kind of like your number 8 pick a little more than I like mine. But I think you'll look back and say, what about Contreras? So
I agree. And I also do like Luke Raley, man. I got to see that kid in person. He can run. He hits for power. I think there's more in the tank there. I'd like to see him. I think he's going to have even a better year in 2025. felt.
But great minds think alike at the very top.
I mean, geez.
You know, again, things that slid. My struggle was how high up do I put Vlad Guerrero? That was a great year last year, but kind of out of respect because Freeman and Harper are operating at such a high level of professionalism. For me, Vlad's got to do it 2 straight years before he takes over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. I felt the same way as far as I just think Vlad is about to take off. I think he was kind of trying to figure things out.
Yeah, but if you thought he was going to take off, you'd have him at number 1. So 3 is where we
not ahead of Freddie and Harper.
Right.
What are you, nuts? Not take off that way.
See, that shows the level of respect is that we think that guy's great at number 3, but it's like, whoa, no. In the stratosphere, you've got to do it year after year after year to beat those.
And this is where this position you expect to have 2 of the best players in baseball. At the top, Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, 2 of the best in the game, happen to be the 2 top 10 first basemen.
All right, good. Did you enjoy the exercise?
Oh, this is great, man. I love it, dude. I love it.
Good, clean fun.
Yeah.
We're up there. Too bad we weren't doing it in your day. We've only done it 15.
I know. Come on, man. What about my day? I want to make it.
Great stuff, Case. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on Top 10 Right Now.
やりました。フレディ・フリーマンが再びナンバーワンの座を手にしました。長年にわたる安定感、驚異的な打撃成績、そして守備の堅実さ、これほどの実績を持つ選手がまだ衰え知らずでトップに君臨し続ける方は、まさに MLB の伝説の一部となっています。この結果を見て納得した人もいれば、いや、そろそろブライス・ハーパーの時代ではと感じた人もいるかもしれません。確かにハーパーも素晴らしいシーズンを過ごしました。彼のポストシーズンでの活躍、圧倒的な打撃力、そしてプレッシャーの中で力を発揮するメンタルの強さ、すべてがナンバーワンにふさわしい選手です。しかし、それでもフリーマンがトップである理由、それは彼の圧倒的な安定感と試合に与える影響の大きさにたなりません。そして忘れてはいけないのが次の時代を担う選手たちです。ウラジーミル・ゲレーロ JR がどこまで見ていくのか。マット・オルソンは来シーズンこそ打撃力を完全復活させるのか。そしてクリスチャン・ウォーカー、ピート・アロンゾ、ヤンディ・ディアスといった選手たちがどこまで自分のスタイルを確立し、安定した成績を残せるのか。リストの順位こそ多少の違いはあれど、彼ら全員が MLB の舞台で輝くべき選手であり、2025年シーズンの行方を大きく左右する存在であることは間違いありません。このランキングを見て、皆さんはどう思いましたか？いや、ゴールドシュミットはまだトップ10に入るべきだとか、ビニー・パス・ランティーノがここにいるのは意外だといった意見を持った方もいるでしょう。そんな皆さんの意見や考えをぜひコメントで教えてください。特にナンバーワンの座にふさわしいのは誰なのか、そして来年のランキングではどの選手がさらに飛躍するのか、みんなで語り合いましょう。MLB は常に進化し続けるリーグであり、その中でスター選手たちの活躍はファンの心を熱くします。そして何よりこのランキングは単なるデータや成績だけではなく、選手たちがどのように試合に影響を与えているか、どれだけチームに貢献しているか、どんなドラマを生み出しているかが重要になってきます。だからこそ数字だけでは測れない要素があるのもまた面白いポイントですよね。例えばハーパーのポストシーズンでの影響力やウォーカーの守備の安定感、こういった部分も含めてランキングを考えるとまた違った見方ができるかもしれません。そして来シーズンは一体どんなドラマが待っているのでしょうか。フリーマンの王座は守られるのか、それともゲレーロ JR がついに彼を超えるのか、あるいはオルソンやアロンゾが予想以上の活躍を見せ、完全なダークホースとなる可能性も。どんな展開が待っているのか、 今からワクワクしてしまいますよね。これからの MLB もますます目が離せません。今年のランキングを見て、この選手はもっと上にいるべきと思った方、あるいはこの選手がランキングに入っていないのはおかしいと思った方、ぜひ皆さんの意見を聞かせてください。コメントで皆さんの考えをシェアして、一緒に MLB の未来を予想しましょう。また、このチャンネルでは、これからも MLB の最新情報、ランキング、選手分析など、熱い野球トークをお届けしていきます。もしまだチャンネル登録していない方がいたら、ぜひ今のうちに登録して、次回の動画もお楽しみに。これからも一緒に MLB を盛り上げていきましょう。